Up, y'all? You already know who it is, your boy JP, and today we got a not necessarily a big install, but it's definitely kind of in detail or in depth or whatever you want to call it. We're doing a 4-channel amp, and we're also doing a sub amp, and we're going to be installing 2 LOCs. So I decided to go ahead and show you how to, since I keep getting questions on how to hook up the LOCs, where do you find ignition and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna go through all of that kind of stuff today. Alright guys, so before we get started, I just want to let you know that every tool that I'm about to use right now will be linked in the description below. So go ahead and go down to the description, hit those links, get your best prices on the phase testers, the LOCs, panel removal tools, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, first thing we want to do is start right here on this 2008 Nissan Armada. And actually, I probably don't even need the removal tool to stick my hand in there. I think this is only held in by clips, so if that's the case, come on. Yeah, so that's only held in by clips, and you see we have one Phillip right there and one Phillip right there. So let's go ahead and take those out. Alright, so now that I went on ahead and take out these 2 Phillips that's at the bottom, one right here, one on the other side, before you go pull on that panel, make sure you remove these 2. There's one on the right and there is one on the left. That's actually mounted to the bracket that holds the double din radio in. So we're gonna go ahead and get this last one out on this side, and we should be able to take everything off because everything else is held in strictly by clips. Alright, literally when I took that last screw out, this thing literally just fell off. So evidently, I mean, you have that clip at the top right there, one on the other side. I don't know, it's because this car is so old, but we do have our radio. So what I'm gonna do right now is get behind here and check some wire color, see if we can get some speakers to pop. And now we're gonna get into our whole little LOC. Alright, so what I'm gonna try to do right now is try to find a good ignition. This is how you will get ignition to power the amps, just one of the ways. A lot of people like to use fuse taps and go to the fuse box. You can use an ignition off the radio. If there's a remote amplifier turn on, as long as it's not a 6-volt amplifier, you should be able to do that. If it's a 12-volt amp and not a digital amp, put a relay on it. But this right here is the cigarette lighter, and right now my little cigarette lighter has this little red light. The car is off. When I turn it on, the light comes on. So all I have to do is find out which one's power, which one's ground, and we can actually use that for our ignition for our line output converter. One of these wires is black, one of them is green with a white stripe. So I'm assuming that the green with the white stripe is the 12-volt wire, but it is safe to test it every time with your meter just to make sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that for my ignition. So that's what we're using to turn our amps on. Alright y'all, so if you can see that I have about 8 wires that's actually stripped back by using my wire strippers. Those are all my speaker wires. Now the reason I stripped them back behind the radio is I want to make sure that I can catch my signal from here. So what I do is I take my polarity tester, and I know for a fact that this is a pair of speakers. This white with the black stripe and the blue with the black stripe. So you hear that over there, that means that speaker is my front right speaker. Now I didn't just guess on these. I definitely have a wire diagram that I use, so it's good if you guys can have like a direct text or all data or modified. There's a lot of the12volt.com. there's a lot of free websites out there that you can get the wire colors from, but you definitely want to get those and then start testing just to make sure that we can catch it from here. Because if we pop those speakers from behind here, and or if we try to tone from behind the radio and we don't get anything, then that means that there's a signal going to an amplifier or some kind of junction to where we have to catch it from on the other side, the outputs from that amplifier. So since we can get it from here, what we're going to do now is cut these wires. And the reason we want to cut them is because we're hooking up a 4-channel amplifier. So we're going to cut these wires right here this side that's coming from the radio will be going towards our line output converter, and this side that goes towards the speaker will be hooked up to our 4-channel amp. So this is the wire that I'm using to actually run my speaker wire. It is called 9-wire or multi-conductor wire, and it's basically just 9 wires wrapped up in this jacket, so it makes it easier to run. So you have your 8 speaker wires, 2 whites, 2 grays, 2 greens, and 2 purples, and then you also have a blue wire right here that can go towards your remote turn on for it to turn on the amp. So I told you that I'm actually going to use our cigarette lighter, so I will extend this wire to go to the cigarette lighter. That way on the other end, wherever it's at, on the other end right here, when I run it to my 4-channel amp, all I had to do was strip my wires back. Blue is going to turn my amp on, and the rest are going to get power from there. Well, this right here is your line output converter, and it consists of right now 6 wires. The 2 whites are going to go to your left, the 2 grays are going to go to your right, and those 2 browns that you see right there, those are to be grounded just in case if we was having any kind of engine noise or feedback. But 9 times out of 10 I really don't do anything with those except cap them off. So what we're doing right now, since this is what's outputting the signal to our speakers, or the power to our speakers, that's where we want to catch our signal. So what this thing does is it takes the high level input and it converts it to your low level output. So by this putting the signal to this box, it's going to output a low level signal. That way we can actually get something to, we can get a good signal to our amplifiers, because no factory radio has a set of RCA jacks. So I know that this right here, the white with the blue and the blue with the red, these 2 are my front speakers. This is the driver side speaker. This is the passenger side front speaker. So my 2 white wires, positive and negative, is going to go to the driver side, positive and negative. My 2 gray, solid gray and gray with the black stripe, the one with the black stripe is the one that's negative. So positive and negative grays will go here, and then that will give us our signal for our 4-channel amp. Now they do make 4-channel line output converters. Since we're using a 2-channel, what we're going to have to do is run the single RCA from here to the back, and then we'll just split it using Y splitters. Alright, so as you can see, I got my 2 LOCs right over there. I have the one that has the tape on it to let me know that that's going to be my front RCA, and they are split off of here, tested tape real nice. I'm gonna put a zip tie right there, and then I have this side hooked up to my 9-wire that's already dropped down, and it will be zip tied right along that factory wiring. That way everything goes back into place how it's supposed to be. So now that we have the back, let me just run everything. Now that we have everything done at the front, we're gonna run everything to the back. Alright guys, so we got this 4-channel amp right here, sub amp right here. Everything is playing how it's supposed to be. Gonna turn it up a little bit. Alright man, that's about it. I hope I helped somebody out. If you found any value in this video, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Until the next time, this is JP signing out.